Hello, everyone. Welcome to Get Unstuck Now. I'm Darlene Corbett, your host. And yes, I got this out in a week instead of waiting 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I'm so pleased to be here. Thank you for listening. We are going to discuss today relationships, especially at a certain age, short engagements, and icebreakers, something fun at the end. Let's start with relationships at a certain age. Relationships at any age, really. The dating world is abound with people looking for relationships. People in their 20s tend to be looking for someone that they can have a more serious relationship with. That often leads to marriage and children, sometimes no children, but something more connected. 30s, it's mixed. 40s, well, that can be for one person more than the other. 50s, 60s, 70s, the same. It can be ambiguous, which I want to get to. Now, I'm not on the dating apps. I'm married, but I hear enough about all of them. And let me say this. There is a really good place for the dating apps. I've seen many people meet others, get married, have a lovely life. When I say dating apps, I mean dating, online dating services. The issue I'm hearing, especially for older people, not so much younger. I mean, it's there, but in the 30s, you start to see a creep up. If people have been married before, they're not sure they're looking for any kind of long-term relationship or marriage. Sometimes the other person is. 40s, same thing. Now, I tell you all of this because I'm hearing some things that people look for people that want a relationship, and then they find out that the significant person they are dating is not interested in having a growing relationship. So let's define, in my terms, as a therapist, what is a relationship? You look at in the dictionary, actually, it's a connection between two people. But some people don't want to see that connection grow. They may be unclear themselves, or they have not been clear with their corresponding potential partner in whatever form that is. I've seen many situations, even women in their 50s, 40s, look for a relationship. The person says they're looking for a relationship, and to them, the relationship is once a week. That's it, maybe twice. It's not clear. You see it even more when people reach their 60s and 70s. Life has many layers, many chapters. So there are many more people often involved in the people's lives. So they say they're looking for a relationship. But again, that means I like to meet with you once a week, have dinner, maybe some intimacy, and that's it. I've got my children, I've got my grandchildren, I have this, I have that. Okay, that is fine if that's what you want. You need to define for yourself, first of all, what do you want in a relationship? What does a relationship mean to you? Once you figure that out, you need to be clear when you meet the person. I'm looking for someone I can spend some time with. Once, twice a week. I'm a busy person. More than that, I can't do it. I have a lot of commitments. You may find someone that's perfectly fine for. They are just enchanted by that concept because they don't have time either. They have this, they have that. That's all they want. Often, however, you see someone saying, I want a relationship, and the corresponding party finds they really don't want the same kind of relationship they want. One that I consider a growing relationship where you have the seeds, you pour water on them, the growth happens. It may bloom and blossom and become perennial. That's what many people are looking for. If you don't know, that's fine too. If you say relationship, but I'm not really sure what I mean by that, that is fine. You need to be clear with the person you start dating. I'm looking for this kind of relationship. I'm not sure I want more. I have to be honest with you. Then the responsibility is on the other person, whether or not they want to continue along the path of uncertainty with you, or try to find someone that's looking more for something that they want. It's about communication. And so many people are just unclear. Again, sometimes you might not be sure. That's okay. Just be honest if you're not sure. I'm not sure. Or I definitely want a relationship heading towards marriage. I know people in their 60s and 70s that want to get married again or marry for the first time. Many years ago, I had a lovely person I saw who was in a relationship with someone, and she had had a bad experience in her first marriage. I'll just say that. She was living with this man. Financially, he was going to take care of her, but he did not want to get married again. She had the commitment, everything was there. But for her, the idea of being married again was so important to her. Others, it doesn't matter. So I say all this because I'm hearing a lot of this uncertainty, this ambiguity, this lack of communication. It's really important to be clear in your mind, especially as you get older, because there are many layers as we get older. We have more baggage, we have more chapters, we have more whatever, we have more history. You must be clear with yourself. And even if that clarity still speaks to, I'm not sure, that's okay. Because again, the other person has a choice. Do I continue on this uncertainty? Sometimes yes, and it turns out exactly the way both people want. Life is full of uncertainty, isn't it? So I will leave that for you to consider. And if you know people out there in the dating world, well, and they're your friends, I would encourage you to suggest to them to be clear in their own minds and their hearts, souls, and minds. How about that? Because it's not fair to the other person, especially if you know you don't want a long-term relationship in that form, a relationship where you grow together, you spend more time together. I'll say one more thing about this. Relationships, as all of you know, take work, take sacrifice, take compromise. Some people don't want to do it. They want it all. I'll fit this in, I'll fit that in, I'll fit this in. I don't want anything else disrupted. Well, guess what? You better find someone that thinks exactly or close enough to that, because most people know that's not the way relationships work. So you might miss out on someone because you don't want to give up something else. Now, I'm not suggesting you have to give up everything. You can walk and chew gum at the same time. I say that often. That's a great, not my saying, as you all know, but you can do both. You may have to give a little, give up a little. You know, you hear stories where they give up all their friends for this man or woman. We don't have to do that either. Again, one does not have to eradicate the other. Now, when people have children and grandchildren, again, although that has happened sometimes, you don't have to, you might have to spend a little less time with them or include your partner or potential partner. But again, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be one way or the other. So clarity is important when it comes to dating and relationships. Okay, short engagements. Short engagements. So I have thought about this because there's a lot of people out there saying you should not have a short engagement, especially when you're younger. I'm going to challenge that. Now, when I say short engagements, I don't mean a week. And any of you who are watching Pam and Tommy on Hulu, you're going to be reminded, for those of you who are old enough to remember, that marriage that took place in Cancun. And I thought, as the show was unfolding, I said to my husband, I think they got married while they were in Cancun together very quickly. I think they had met once and then they became enamored with each other. And he followed her to Cancun and boom, they got married. They weren't thinking with their hearts and minds. No, they were not. You could say they were thinking with their heart. Oh, no, 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 no. They were thinking with some other organs. The show is very good. It's very entertaining. The acting is superb. There is, as we've been seeing more of, ladies, you can see now we have equality here. They were always showing female frontal nudity for years and years and years only. Men, the crown jewels were hidden, not anymore. And we've seen it on Netflix and I think Amazon, whatever. But this one, oh, the magic wand is front and center. And I mean front and center, front close up and center and waving its magic. I'll just say that. And I'm talking literally. You have to watch it figuratively. Obviously, it's not a magic wand, although some people think it is. I suppose it does perform magic, but you have to watch the show and you will know exactly what I'm talking about. I've never seen anything like this on TV. So if you have teenagers or young children, don't know, young children should not be watching it. It's not really the sex scenes. It's more about the anatomy that's being expressed. And you'll see exactly what I mean. I don't want to give it away. I know you'll agree when you see it. But for us adults, it's very entertaining. It's a lot. But Tommy Lee is very much a lot. They did together make a lot. And I'm not talking money. Only in La La Land, reality hits and it's like, what's your favorite movie after you get married? Do you have any brothers and sisters after you get married? Surprised it lasted 3 years and 2 children later, but it did. But now I digress. Getting back to short engagements. There's nothing wrong with a short engagement. Life is finite. I have people telling me in their 30s, people warn them, no, you only know them a year. A year is fine. I know people that have only known people a month and they were engaged, or people moved in after 3 dates and got married and had children. 40 years later, here they are. There's no guarantees to anything. Short engagement, long engagement. You can see long engagements. You can see people living together for years and the marriage doesn't work. You can see marriages that seem like they are the premier marriage of the world and you find out it's all a sham. Life is a risk. So if you feel safe enough and comfortable enough to take the risk of a shorter engagement, don't let anyone rain on your parade. It's none of their business. Even if they're right, it's still not for them to tell you what to do. Unless you ask their opinion, I would not allow them to rain on your parade. It can work, short engagements, especially as you get older. Now, you get older, sometimes it's very difficult because there's a lot of baggage. As I said, a lot of chapters, a lot of baggage, and good baggage too, but a lot of things that may not reveal themselves. When you're younger, it's easier, you don't have so much background. But when you're older, you have to be cautious. But again, it doesn't mean you have to have a long engagement. Life is finite. And as we get older, there's much less behind us. There's much less in front of us than behind us. We're not quite sure what's over the horizon. So if you find love at a later time in your life, remember what Robert Browning said to Elizabeth Barrett Browning. I think Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Grow old along with me. The best is yet to be. The last of life for which the first is made. That last of life could be this long. But why not enjoy it? Especially if you either have been widowed and you'd like to meet someone again, although you've got to remember, our relationships take a life of their own, or you had a lousy marriage, a painful marriage. Why not? Why not? Just be careful. Just be cautious. There's lots out there on the internet. You can Google people. I knew the situation of someone that had done some things wrong, nothing horrible, but it was on the internet. And the potential partner said, we all make mistakes. They took a chance and they're married happily together, enjoying life together. I believe they're in their 60s or late 50s. We all make mistakes, as St. Augustine said, and I'm paraphrasing him. No saint has never been a sinner, and no sinner has not been a saint, something like that. You can look it up. But my point is, we're all human. We make mistakes. No one's perfect. If you trust and you think this person is worthy of your time and attention and your love and your potential to be together for whatever time left, don't let anyone tell you no. Okay, finally, because of the time, this is going to be a shorter podcast. I think that was actually fun. I was going to say, let's end on something good, but I think that's a good thing. Love. It's all about love and making the best of life and finding people that aren't perfect, but may have wonderful shared, I don't even want to say interest. You don't have to have all the exact same interests, but a shared connection, an authentic, loving connection with you. But I want to talk about an icebreaker. And I got this reminder because I'm in this writing group and someone suggested starting a story and letting someone else continue and someone else continue. And it is such fun. In Toastmasters, which I no longer belong to, but it's a fabulous organization, we used to do something called table topics. And part of table topics is you could say, let's go around, talk about your favorite book, your favorite movie. Those are great icebreakers, but this is the most fun. You start a story. And one of the stories we started about, this is way back, Paul Revere's Midnight Ride. And somebody said, Paul Revere was going on midnight ride and he wanted to stop. And so, and then somebody else took over. And I'll never forget, somebody took it over and said, Paul McCartney, he's coming to Fenway, which is in Boston, for all of you know. Paul Revere decided to stop at the pub and he goes, I want a beer before I take this midnight ride. I don't remember all the details. And then somebody led on and somebody continued and so on. We did this in a writing exercise and somebody said something to the effect, this woman was reading a good book and the lights went out. So somebody wrote something and somebody wrote, there was a dragon sitting there and somebody wrote something else about a butler. He went off to me subject. So I went back. I said, we don't even know who she was. At she and somebody else, she pointed out the dragon and the butler shuddered. And then somebody added on. It's just a blast. I love it. It taps into your creativity and it has people participate. They don't have a choice. So if you ever have a party or a dinner party and it gets quiet, you might say, let's do something fun. Let's do this cool icebreaker and start a story, any theme. Actually, I'm going to be at a meeting in April. I'm going to do that. So it's just an idea, just a thought. That's it for today. On that note, thank you for listening. You know, you can listen to me on many platforms, from Apple to Amazon to iHeart to Pandora. Also on YouTube at youtube.com/ I think it's a / Darlene Corbett, Get Unstuck today. The podcast is getting stuck now, but you can see me on YouTube. I should have said that at the beginning, but you'll find it at the end and it will be in the program notes. All right, everyone. Have a lovely several days until I speak to you again. Feel free to go to my website, darlenecorbett.com. It's going to be revised. I just don't know when. And if you want to sign up for a newsletter that I'll eventually get out, please do. But also you can buy my book, which is behind me, Stop Depriving the World of You. I do have more writing coming out. It's just not sure when.